So James Schneider was on Talk TV having a debate with a Labour right figure called David Menser. This is one of the most insane discussions, interviews I've ever seen. It just shows how horrible people on the Labour right really are.
The reason why Keir Starmer is under pressure is because he has tucked in behind the government, who themselves are then tucked in behind the US in their support for Israeli war crimes. That's why he's under pressure. And it's not because of Muslims or these voters or that voters. 76% of people in this country want to see a ceasefire now. And that's because that's the common sense position. Because most people know that you don't respond to the unjustifiable killing of one group of children by killing a whole load more children. It doesn't make any sense.
Now, what James is saying is completely uncontroversial, logical. I don't know how you can disagree with it, but I get a sense that maybe David Menser will or has something to say.
So what we should be doing, what we need from our politicians, which we don't have because they're in lockstep in support of the Israeli bombing campaign at the moment, is to call for a ceasefire, because Britain not only provides diplomatic support for Israel, but we also help arm Israel. So we are complicit in the crimes which are taking place, and therefore we have an outsized role in the ability to try to bring about peace.
But sorry to interject, James, but this is about Labour's response, potentially our future Prime Minister's position on this.
Right, and what I'm saying is he's not doing his job, because 76% of people, according to a YouGov poll, want a ceasefire now. That is not a position that is being put forward by either the two major parties, which are parroting the same line and are just following the US. The US changes position slightly, they change position slightly.
The tricky position right here is sitting in your studio, and his name is James. James is, of course, a pound shop academic who underwrote, who sustained, who was the right-hand man of Jeremy Corbyn. Jeremy Corbyn, who certainly failed.
I mean, he's frothing at the mouth just trying to get his words up because he's so angry. And by the way, I love the producer. Whoever decided to put Red Rage at the bottom, I thank you, because this guy looks like a typical Question Time gammon audience. And you can see how angry he's getting. But so far, I've not heard anything logical, anything to any points to make against James's arguments. It's just he's throwing out insults, bringing up Jeremy Corbyn.
In his role as being leader of the Labour Party, giving the Labour Party its worst possible election.
What has this got to do with Israel-Palestine?
The 1930s.
I mean, at the beginning of the video, James Schneider says there are people, especially the Labour right, who are trying to make this a political issue within the Labour Party, but people don't care. If you're Palestinian, you don't care about the internal politicking of the Labour Party. This is a serious issue. And what is this David guy doing? He's making it an internal Labour Party issue, talking about Jeremy Corbyn's worst defeat. James Schneider was around Jeremy Corbyn's team. You can't trust him. Why are we talking about this? Why are you talking about this? We're talking about a humanitarian crisis. We're talking about a genocide, and you want to talk about Jeremy Corbyn?
But of course, he also pushed me and my family out of the Labour Party, where I was a member for the last 20 years or so. And he pushed me and my family over to live in Israel. That's what anti-Semitism does.
Oh, bollocks. Bollocks. Look, I'm sorry. I'm not taking that. I'm not having that. Look, there were issues of anti-Semitism in the party. I mean, how many times do us on the left have to say this? We say it over and over again, and it's a serious issue. Claims like this, where David is saying, Corbyn pushed me out. He pushed me to Israel. I'm sorry, that's complete horse shite. Jeremy Corbyn didn't push anyone out. He tried to make the party bigger. 500,000 members, 600,000 members. Keir Starmer's party is a hard right clique. They wanted a smaller party. The idea that Jeremy Corbyn was trying to push anyone out is ludicrous. I mean, Margaret Hodge called him an effing anti-Semite. He didn't do nothing. I mean, the problem with Jeremy Corbyn, he was too weak. He was too weak as leader. Insane.
And James endorsed it. James, of course, is not the most trustworthy of people, because he was, of course, before being vaguely associated with the Labour Party, leading Momentum. But of course, before that, he was president of the Lib Dem Society. And of course, he's been writing for the Conservative Home newspaper. So
wait, hold on. So if the Labour Party moved to the right and we say, oh, look, Christian Wakeford, who was a Tory MP, I don't think they should be in the Labour Party. And it was quite quick. We say, whoa, Labour's changed. We need to get Conservative people on board. We need to change minds. Okay, fine. I accept your point. But James Schneider, who years ago used to be a Lib Dem, oh, well, he shouldn't be in the party because he's not always Labour. It's moving the goalposts to suit your agenda, isn't it?
James is a tin pot student politician that really should stay in the student union. This is about big boy politics.
Okay,
Okay, I'm still yet to hear an argument because why is there no argument? There's no argument because you cannot defend genocide. What Israel is doing is indefensible. So whenever you see interviews or debates with people like the pro-Israel people or Labourite figures, you'll see they will always resort to attacks. They'll get angry. They'll try and smear the other person because they can't say, oh, well, Israel was justified. I mean, some people did that. I mean, Keir Starmer tried doing that, and look at the backlash he's got. So they're trying to be clever about it rather than engage in the actual argument, which is Israel is using collective punishment. They are committing a genocide, an ethnic cleansing. You cannot defend that. You can't.
All right, David. I hear you. There's a lot in there. We learned a lot about James's CV as well here. Didn't know about the Conservative home bit. But
it's not true.
The pound shop academic stuff. I mean, you're not really the man to be talking about
he's
this.
Still going. He's still going in the background.
I think he's still going. I mean, most of what he said is factually inaccurate, but I'm not really going to. This isn't about me. I'm not here to talk about myself.
You can actually still hear him. You can't really hear it, but I got the phone quite close to me. I can still hear this guy speaking. He's unhinged.
If we want to have.
But do you represent a view, the momentum view, the Corbyn view? I think that's overarching.
The position that I represent.
And also, it's not the Corbyn view or the momentum view to be against genocide. This isn't. I mean, it shouldn't be a political thing, but it is. Like, whether you're a Tory, you're on the Labour right, or you're on the left, everyone should be like, genocide is bad. So even the media framing is, well, are you representing a very small clique of momentum and Corbynite policy or viewpoint?
Is what 76% of people in the UK, according to YouGov Pollsport, we want a ceasefire now. That is the common sense position. It, in my view, is the only morally plausible position. And we have a role. Everybody in this country actually has a role in helping bring about peace because our government is a major supporter of Israel.
True.
And we can pressure our politicians, and if they change course, that can have a material effect in the field. That can help save lives. So I'm not here talking for anybody. I'm just saying that this is the case. The reason why the overwhelming majority of people want a ceasefire is because it is the common sense, right thing to do, and our political class is not offering it to us at all. Neither the Conservative Party nor Keir Starmer's Labour.
Okay. Thank you to David. Do you want to get a final word in, David?
Yeah, the overwhelming majority of the British people rejected Corbyn's approach to international policy because this is a terrorist organisation.
Again, what does this have to do with Jeremy Corbyn? He's still trying to make internal politics a thing. James pointed out, I mean, I've not seen the poll, but James is saying that 76% of the British people want a ceasefire, which is common sense, good, and I hope that's true because I want 100% of people, but it's very nice to know the majority of British people back something sensible. Yet his response is, well, the Labour Party lost the last election, so I guess we should support genocide. These are the people that are going to be in power. They're going to govern us. Just think about that.
Which cannot be appeased, as James suggests. It needs to be defeated, because if it's not defeated here, it will take root on the streets of London. We already saw 100,000 people marching from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free. That
it was
means
more than
the
100,000. I was there.
People.
100,000 people. I mean, he's referring to the marches. 100,000 people support Palestinians because, look, there's 100,000 decent people in this country. I didn't realize that Hamas, a kind of a small terrorist organization, is actually this massive global organization. There's hundreds of thousands of people in every single country. Oh my God, it's all Hamas. You're crazy. You are crazy.
And it wasn't frightening at all.
People here in Israel. James, you've had your turn. Now it's my chance. It's time to expose your hypocrisy. It's time to expose your love of Jew haters.
Oh my God. That's right. James Schneider he loves Jew haters. That's exactly what it is. Do people genuinely listen to people like David Menzer? Are you convinced when you hear that? When you hear one person say, this is a really serious issue, our leaders are failing us, Keir Starmer, Rishi Sunak, the world over, the European Union leaders, the US, Joe Biden, they're failing us because they are not holding Israel to account. And we have influence since we send them aid, we send them weapons, they're an ally. So at least we could speak up on the international stage and say, yes, what happened on October 7th was disgusting and wrong. But don't blame the Palestinian people for that. And also, you have been occupying Palestine for 75 fucking years. Now, the response is, you're a Jew hater, you're an anti-Semite, I'm going to shit my pants, which I think he already has, this guy in the studio. But I've never heard of this guy until today. Do you find that convincing? Because I certainly don't. And to be honest, I hope they use this argument going forward. I hope you continue to do that. People who are pro-Israel, people who identify or are sympathetic to people like David Mensa on the Labour right, I hope you continue to use these arguments because you look like a twat. You look like a complete twat in front of millions of people. Please, you're helping us.
Time to put an end to Hamas, and all right-thinking people, all genuine people would agree with that notion, while of course protecting the lives of hostages and of course of ordinary Palestinian people.
All right, that last comment may well be seen as a yellow card, I think, from James. I mean, your love of Jew haters, I think you would wish to refute that unequivocally.
I mean, yeah, it's absurd. I mean, I'm not getting into his ridiculous ad hominem stuff, which is offensive, false, idiotic. And most importantly, we are talking about a conflict where people are dying. I don't care if this bloke doesn't like me. I don't care if I like him.
You support evil Hamas.
He supports Hamas. What? I am laughing, but it's more because I'm angry. This would be funny if this didn't have real-world consequences. People like David Mensa are the sort of people that James Schneider had to face every single day, are the people that Jeremy Corbyn, are people like me who supported Corbyn's leadership, anyone in Lotto. We had to face these kinds of people, right? Of course the Conservatives were going to attack Labour. Of course the media was going to attack Labour too. But the Labour right, those inside the party, these were the sort of enemies we had. Now, Jeremy Corbyn, I mean, I don't want to keep going over it again, but Jeremy Corbyn wanted a broad church. His first shadow cabinet had the likes of Hilary Benn, who was the, he instituted the chicken coup. It was a very broad church. It wasn't a hard left clique like some people like to say. Yet still, we had people like David and people on the Labour right who looked at Corbyn and those around him as evil, as terrorist sympathisers. They said it themselves. So this is what Labour under Corbyn had to face. No wonder they got destroyed at the ballot box, and no wonder the mainstream media harped on about it, because you had Labourite figures who were briefing to the media. This is the type of response, and now these people are going to be in power. Does that make you feel good? Does it even make you feel safe? That one of their favourite tactics is McCarthyism? I don't think so.
Right-thinking people.
Okay, I obviously don't support evil Hamas.
Evil.
If he were listening
evil
to what
Hamas,
I'm saying,
child killers,
I'm saying that
women rapers,
oh my
child
God.
beheaders. Yes, evil Hamas, James. You support them.
No, I don't.
reject them.
Anyway, I'll just let him run out of steam,
majority
and then maybe we can return to some sanity. Because what we're talking about
right
here,
behind me, not behind you and your tin pot ideas.
All right, David, on that point, thank you, David Mensa, for joining us. Very animated stuff.
Well, thank you for that vibrant, interesting debate. We had one side speaking in facts and logic and calm, and then we had David Mensa. I don't even really remember what he said. It's just ridiculous. But I genuinely believe that figures on the Labour right, a lot of them, are far worse as people than many Tory MPs. I know, what a controversial thing to say. But at least with Tory members and MPs, I feel like they're far better at debating with one another. Of course, they do attack each other. I'm not denying that. But this visceral hatred between factions in the party is nothing like what we see in Labour, and people like idiots like David. It's gross, it's offensive, it's disgusting, and it's dangerous. If you are going on TV and you're spending years and years and years and trying to construct the narrative that these people, i.e. the left and socialists, because they have a particular point of view on the world, on the economy, that they simply are terrorist sympathisers, they are idiots, they're clueless, they're loony, they are anti-Semitic. Obviously, it's disgusting and wrong, but it's dangerous because it targets people. I mean, remember, Jeremy Corbyn was literally punched in the face when he was leader. I mean, he was also a target of a terrorist attack. Don't know if those two are quite linked, but the point is, we live in dangerous times where people are getting attacked. I mean, Aaron Bastani was attacked quite recently. And the last thing we should be doing is inflaming tensions, trying to smear our opponents. I mean, isn't debate, an argument, logic good enough? Clearly not for people like David, because they haven't got one. Anyway, insane interview. Love to know what you think. Please drop a comment below. Yeah, insane.